Welcome to Sermons on the Side. I'm Brad.
And I'm Richard.
And life can move pretty fast, so we're here to slow down, dig deep, and find the story hidden in everyday moments.
With years spent in ministry, friendship, and navigating real life together, we're all about blending humor, honesty, and faith into conversations that meet you right where you are.
So whether you're brand new or you're back for more, we are so glad you are here.
So relax, listen in, and let's discover meaning together.
In the ordinary, the messy, and everything in between.
Sermons on the Side, finding meaning in the everyday. Pet friendly, but cat person or dog person?
Dog person, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Gosh, man.
I'm a cat agnostic. I believe they exist, but they have no bearing on my life.
That is...
I have never heard it said, and that owns me now. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
I believe they exist, but they have no...
Oh,
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And we are back. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you there.
Kinda did.
We are. Yeah, the room jumped when that happened. I hope you didn't jump while you're driving your car. Welcome to episode 35 of Sermons on the Side. Richard, how are you, sir?
I'm doing so well.
I was waiting for the nicely.
No, man, I can't. We're not going to repeat that.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I could say healthy at the moment. It could change.
you look good, dog.
Bro, I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Is it heavy?
What's that?
All that swag you carrying around, dog. Yes, sir. You know that's correct. Dude, I am in such a good mood.
Teeing something up.
You were. I'm in such a good
Don't
mood
blow
because
it.
we are here live in studio in the flesh with the one, the only, a new and dear quick friend already, Michael Warden.
Exactly.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing que rico.
Oh, yes! Oh, we're going to have to
Man.
explain that.
I need you to edit that soundbite out, and that's going on my phone.
Done.
Anytime my wife texts me.
Yes, I actually think I caught the front end of the conversation, so I might use it as credits in the back end.
Okay, there you go.
But if we don't, before we went live, we were talking about que rico.
Que rico. Well, we learned that Richard goes by Rich, but that his wife sometimes calls him Rico.
Rico.
Yeah.
We
Right.
found that out recently,
It
didn't we?
was, and now the entire Sermons on the Side universe is now calling me Rico.
Yeah,
it's
well,
awesome.
What was not known until most recently is that in Spanish, rico means rich, but it has a connotation of like really high end, really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
See what I'm saying?
Just
Yeah,
Doesn't it
bougie,
fit?
bougie.
just
bougie.
really, yeah. And so when
Come on.
yeah, it's like a really nice dessert. It's a
yeah.
Rico dessert. So,
Oh,
but
don't get me started about with Rico and desserts, but continue.
That's actually a problem.
right, but then if you in Spanish or in most cultures there, when you encounter something that is especially rich, the expression is que rico.
Que rico. Let me hear you say that one time with your little R's, mister.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Que rico.
He subs the R for an L. What is going on? Dude, hey, that is the type of wisdom and insight that you just don't get on other podcasts.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Who gets
1
this?
minute in and you got que rico. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
How do you guys do that with the rolling of the R's?
Yeah, some people
look
are
at it.
born with it.
Yeah.
And,
It's a
you know,
gift.
yeah.
It's a gift. Oh, my goodness. But we're so excited. You guys are already getting absolutely awesome input from Michael Warden, our friend and our guest on this roundtable.
That's right. So this is our second ever interview, although it is kind of a roundtable discussion
Nah.
because it's episode 35. We're kind of doing the
That's true.
interview thing, and we are so glad to have you.
Words to that effect.
Yeah, something like that. We're professionals. We get paid to do this. No, we don't. But yeah, man. So thank you for joining us. And earlier today at dinner, I asked, "Is this your first time in Columbus?" And you said, "Yeah." So thanks
Yes.
for bringing the cool weather with you.
Sure, man. Yeah, it's great to be down here. Georgia is a beautiful state. I'm
Yeah.
yet to see most of it, but It's lovely. In fact, I grew up in the piney woods of East Texas. So
Okay.
I was just telling Rico here that I was able to wander around in the pine trees earlier today and just enjoy, that vibe, which is it's not like that in Colorado. Colorado's a different kind of conifer than this, but it's just gorgeous. So beautiful place.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me, though. It's great to be here.
So over the course of this episode, our listeners are going to get to catch a glimpse and really get to know you and how it is that you came about doing the different things that are a part of your life right now, the way that you are connecting people to the Lord and helping folks, some of your writing, just some of the stuff that you're up to. And we're excited about that introduction. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, man. So we've got a lot to talk about. So let's just dive right in. So
Pepper in you with questions.
Michael Warden. All right. So you've worked several years on like the editorial side of publishing, okay, before becoming a full-time writer in the mid-90s. In addition to this Pearlsong Refounding project that we are going to dive into pretty soon, you've written several books, other books, essays on leadership, personal development, and around Christian mysticism. Also in the early 2000s, you returned to school to receive advanced training as a coach for leaders and teams, which has satisfied this gap in which you described, quote, the missing half of my calling. And you've created training and community for an incredible ministry called Braveheart Men that we're going to dive into as well.
Can you tell I'm kind of a fan?
Yes. And in these most recent days, you're dividing your time in between writing, coaching, Braveheart Men, and sharing stories on the road, where I can't wait to hear some of those stories in your van that you have affectionately called Van-Gogh.
Van-Gogh. Yeah,
I mean, dog, first of all, can we just camp out there for a second? How did that come about?
Yeah,
That's
I think
awesome.
the world
We need
needs
to
to know.
start with the van story.
Yeah. So the van is great. Like even the name Van Gogh was inspired. It's really Van Gogh.
Yeah, right.
But I say Van Gogh.
Again, all the accents,
I love it.
the languages.
We're cultured here.
We're sitting at the
Pinkies out, everyone.
Come
Pinkies
on.
out.
But so I've studied the life of Van Gogh in the past. I read all of his letters to his brother Theo. And Van Gogh is this guy, speaking of creativity, who is extraordinarily creative, not recognized in his day by anyone but his brother as having any true gifting or true gift for the world. Today he's known as just one of the greatest artists that we've ever done. Right. So, but he's mentally challenged. I mean, he had mental struggles and mental health struggles, and all that was also true. But he was this amazing artist. And the thing that I took away from all of that was that Van Gogh was right. Like when he thought about himself and his art, everybody else was wrong except his brother Theo, and he was right. And when I think about people who are like me, creative, trying to do something good in the world, and you're not, like, it's just, the world is very busy and noisy, and a lot of people don't know you're there, and it's so easy to feel like you're just speaking to yourself in a mirror, basically.
Yeah, right.
But that's why the van is called Van Gogh, because he's my spirit animal. It's like
I feel you.
Yeah, because he just knew he had something to offer, and he was going to offer it, and he did. And all these generations later, we're thankful for it. So
when I first heard that your van was called Van Gogh, I was like, he's a simple-minded guy. My car is called Car Drive.
I get in the van
Go.
and I go. So.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, even how you were just describing your time in Georgia and just exploring and just going and being in nature, like that fits with this Van Gogh narrative even now, right?
That's right.
One of the ways that you give to the world and the content that you put out, I'm kind of stepping over your question here, Brad, but is through a writing page called The Sojournist.
Yes.
So you are a sojourner.
I am a sojourner.
Aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And very, quite literally. But what was it that made you want to, use that moniker for your Substack writings?
Yeah. Well, it was that I knew, and there's all these stories are interconnected, but I knew that I was going to leave my traditional life, which we can talk about, which I did 2 years ago, and move full time into a van and travel.
Wow.
And the point of that ultimately for me was to try to approximate as best as I could what it would be like to follow Jesus in the 21st century. So the notion was, I was very comfortable. I had a house on the side of a mountain. I loved it there. And
I've seen pictures.
oh yeah, it's
Stunning.
nice.
Vista.
And I knew that what I was being called to was something more available and immediate and open and not in my control.
Oh, wow.
Whoa,
And
now
so
that's big.
so I mean, I thought about different options, but I ended up going with I'll just try to follow God, like literally in a van. And in my case, since I'm a coach, in a van down by the river, and that's it's all
It's
going to
your
work
Genesis 12 moment, dog. Abraham, go. Van, go.
out. Yeah, exactly. So
Did
then,
you
so then-
catch the Saturday Night Live reference that he just made? Because we know
Of
that's
course
been a
not.
problem in the past.
Yeah, of course I didn't. What is it?
Okay, he
Chris
said,
Farley. Yeah.
It's the Chris Farley.
I
He
mean,
live in a van down by the river. He was a life coach, and
I got nothing.
these guys will link it in the show notes.
Yes. Listen, he already knows. We'll do it.
such a pro.
I mean, dog.
We're not worthy.
But to
Not worthy.
your question about the sojourner, like that was what I knew I was going to be. Is I am a sojourner. I'm sojourning, and I knew I had these books coming out in which being a sojourner is a key theme, and then the Sojournist, which is my writing platform on Substack. Was really just about like anything I wanted to write that wasn't in the realm of fiction, basically, that I wanted to put out into the world that had to do with my travels or had to do with what I'm studying or reading or people that I was meeting. All that got to be put there. And so, yeah, I've had that going for, I guess, a couple of years since I got in the van.
Well, I have loved that. I signed on for that, and so almost weekly, I get a notification for notes from the road or some poetry or some essay like treatises of different subjects. Anyway, good stuff, and that will be linked in the show notes so some of our folks can can listen. One of the things that Brad mentioned was that your career in coaching is not just a career, but it was the missing piece of your calling.
Yes.
That sounds just core to you,
Right.
and who you are and what you're doing. Can you tell us a little bit about your coaching life?
Yeah, for sure. So my previous career was in writing, and it was in editing, and I was working at a publishing house as a managing editor for mostly creating works for people in faith leadership. So it could have been, could have been pastors, but also nonprofits and even people in the business world who wanted to have a faith emphasis in the work they were doing. So I was helping produce all this stuff for them, but it was like sending pigeons out for like carrier pigeons to carry messages, and I was never actually with these people, and so I loved my work quite a lot, but I still felt a kind of absence because there wasn't a kind of a simpatico close-up interaction with them. And I wanted to serve them in a more immediate relational kind of way. So in the year 2001, 2002, I made the call to go back to school to train as a transformational coach, as a developmental coach. And that took a couple of years to kind of get all that training. Yeah. And thought that it would supplement what I was already doing. As kind of an extra, but within 6 months of me starting to do it, it took over. It took over. So, and that was 20 some odd years ago, and it's been the main career piece of my life since then.
What's been like the biggest thing that you've learned in that process when you've been, since you had that transition to a more relational aspect? What's been some of the big key themes that you've got to be a part of or even just observed over the last 20 years that maybe seems to be that missing link in somebody else's life? What's that gap,
Right. I think the first thing that really struck me and working with faith leaders in all contexts was how under immense pressure and how overburdened that they are.
Yeah.
And finding them, like my dad was a pastor, so I grew up in this world, and I'd been around pastors and leaders and other kinds of faith leaders, both men and women, in all kinds of contexts. So I thought I knew this. I thought I knew these people. But getting intimate with these guys and gals and learning just how much of a weight they're actually carrying and how many of them are getting completely knocked flat frequently and long term. I mean, you already know the stats. Burnout is crazily high, and all that stuff. So all that was true back when I started as well. And I think that was the biggest surprise and the biggest conundrum for me was, why is this happening? These are beautiful, beautiful men and women of God and beautiful hearts wanting to do the right thing. Why aren't they winning? That was my question as a coach, is like, why aren't they actually winning? And that was kind of became a project for me to figure out with them. Let's figure this out. I mean, you should actually be overcoming. Scripture's kind of clear on this point, you know. So what is in the way that is stopping that from happening? And that's eventually what led to Braveheart.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you know, you're kind of like the most interesting man in the world. You do all these like different things that seemingly are unrelated, but as you've described even earlier today, just they're all tethered together in this observation. Even just with the time that we were all spending together last night, you said the phrase, the wounded boy behind the wounded man, or the wounded boy inside the wounded man behind the mask.
Yes.
And that type of, first of all, wow.
Mind blowing, right? We could sit with that for about half an hour.
That. Yeah, exactly. But that process through your coaching, through your different times, you know, with the faith leaders, led you to Braveheart Ministries. And Richard, I know that you have gotten personal experience with the Braveheart weekend, but I just, maybe Richard, real quick, describe that weekend for you, and then we'll kind of pass it over to Michael to kind of talk about how it all kind of came together.
Well, that's actually how I met Michael. A mutual friend of ours had been telling me, you need to experience what's called the Braveheart Intensive, a 4-day, usually over a weekend, gathering of a few men that are ready to do just heart work. Work on our hearts, and as it relates to identity and some details that Michael, I'm sure, can share with us in a moment. But that 4-day intensive was an absolute game changer in my journey. I mean, it empowered me in so many different ways. It was 4 years ago, 4.5 maybe. And I mean, it's still, I'm still feeding off of that. And that experience, what I learned, and the help and ongoing content that comes out of what is the Braveheart Men community. But that experience in the intensive was just amazing for me. And it is one of the many things that the Braveheart Men community offers to guys like us.
Right on. Yeah. So it came out of directly out of the coaching work with these brave men and women actually in leadership. And to your point about the man behind the mask and the boy that's hiding inside the man, what I was finding was that all of these leaders were doing their dead level best to meet expectations that were being presented to them from the outside. And so when they'd come into, let's just take a traditional sense, like they'd come into a church role, for example, and it might be within a certain faith tradition, and there are certain kind of cultural things that are true about that. Right. There's obviously job descriptions, there's obviously other kinds of things that come in, but there's also there's a mantle that they're supposed to wear. And some of that is, let's say, a spiritual mantle, and some of that is really just this societal community thing that becomes a part of what's expected.
Yeah.
And so what was happening was a lot of these guys and gals were putting on very much like the story of David and Saul's armor. Like they were They were trying to defeat Goliath, but they were being told they had to wear this particular kind of armor. They kept putting that armor on. It kept weighing them down too much, and they were unable to do the actual fighting they were meant to do because they weren't meant for that armor. But they didn't know that because no one had, they'd never done the deep work that Richard was talking about of finding out what was their true deep identity apart from everybody else. When God dreamed of them in particular, what was that dream? And getting that data, that information from God about them is critical to these guys and gals being able to figure out what they're supposed to be doing in the world. So one of the first things that Braveheart does, and it's one of the first things we did in the coaching that was so redemptive, was helping men and women of God get clear about this deeper identity piece of knowing who you actually are. And it comes down to this simple truth that's obvious and we don't think about much, but God is infinitely creative. He is very much an artist. He has a message that he is bringing into the world through multiple channels, and one of those channels is you. You know, it's like it's you, and you've never existed before.
Wow.
So in the history of humankind, there's never been an instrument just like you. So there's a particular kind of music, if you want to use that metaphor, that is meant to be played through you. And in order for you to know how to let it be played through you, you've got to understand the instrument that you are. And that's more specific and more precise than just the general ideas of who we are in Christ, which are also critical and form the foundation for everything. But this is more precise than all of that. So it's just really critical that they get that information. And that's just one of the 4, what we call pillars that we talk about in Braveheart.
Wow. I mean, obviously, what a transformation, what a transformative weekend that must be if that's just the first pillar,
Right.
if that's just one of the pillars. I mean, right. Richard, what, I mean.
Well, for me, the identity piece was so critical, and it was really what I think sort of carried the whole weekend experience for me. And as we guided through the other pillars of mission and shadow and values and things like that, I just I'll just give you an example. When Michael was talking just a second ago, he talked about what was God's dream when he created you.
So good.
I mean, who talks like that, by the way?
I love it.
Right? No, but that language is so life-giving.
It's needed.
For me. And it was part of what just really formed such a transformative experience for me. And over the years, Michael, we were talking about this last night. There have been hundreds of men that have gone through do you know how many intensives you guys have done over the years? That's hard.
No, there's probably, I don't know specific because we've had many different facilitators. So I wouldn't want to hazard a guess on the number. And some of them are small and some of them are, they're all small. They're all they never get over to 15 or 18 guys, gotcha. But the smallest ones are about 6. So, but we've had at least 700 or 800 guys who've been through it. Maybe up to 1,000. We didn't keep really good records at the beginning, so we've gotten better at that.
I hear you.
A lot of guys have been through it, and there's even a women's version out there called the Destiny Project, and it's the same content, just revamped and repackaged for women. So
that is that's something that's somewhat connected to Braveheart relationally. You are friends with the.
Yeah, I created them both originally, and then the Destiny Project grew. I became a bottleneck. You know, it's just like it needed to be led by godly women, and so I happened to know some, and there was one in particular named Christina Bailey that I ended up happily handing it over to, and she runs it now.
It is really something what you're sharing about the Braveheart and. What's
the Destiny Project?
Destiny Project. Are there? I understand that these involvement in these experiences is not a light thing at all. There's quite a commitment involved. Obviously, 100% worth it. I would attest to that. But if we have listeners that were interested in at least inquiring about how they could get information or hear when one of these intensives might be taking place, is there a way they can do that?
Yeah, sure. The easiest and quickest way is to go to thebraveheartmen.com. And right there on the first page, and I think on every page, you can just sign up for our email list. That will guarantee that when we have one that's scheduled, and there will be some more scheduled in the next few months, you'll get notified. Gotcha. And we're going to try to do them. We will be doing them all over the country in the next year. We don't know exactly where, but the next one is already full, and it's in North Georgia. So, yeah.
Well, one last question about Braveheart before we kind of turn the corner and begin hearing more about your novel, your fiction work. As it relates to Braveheart, this is not a question that we told you was coming. This is kind of a surprise. So, of the 700 or 800 men who have been through Braveheart Intensive, who is your favorite and why is it me? No, I'm kidding.
Que rico.
I'm kidding.
Que rico!
That's it, baby.
That's called a circle back right there, ladies and gentlemen.
You are que rico. That's why.
Asked and answered.
As
right?
from your lips to God's ears, brother. No, hey, I love it, and I what we're talking about from a Braveheart or this Destiny project, like maybe you're sitting there and you're going, well, hey, I don't need an intensive, okay, but I really resonated with what you talked about the mask.
Come on.
Last night, Michael, you shared a statement, and we just went right past it in the group of men that we were with, but dude, I wrote it down and I have not gotten it out of my head, dude. And it's just, there's so much truth to it. You said, God loves us enough to not deal with our mask. He invites us to lay it down and to encounter him fully. And so if you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I need to go to thebraveheartmen.com and I need to sign up for one of those intensives, then you need to do that. And we will partner with you in that. But if you're sitting there going, hey, I don't need an intensive, but I know what it's like to have a mask on. Can you unpack that statement for us, man? I mean, there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, well, I think it's, I would, if we had some women around the table, we could ask them just directly, but I think this is true universally, but I know it's true for men, that we are in societies that require masks. So early on, we all know the rules growing up as a boy. There are certain things you can or cannot do to be a tough kid or to be, one of the good guys. And that's where it all starts. But as we get into young adulthood and adulthood, there are roles and there are labels, there are kinds of masks, we would call them now, I guess, but there are kinds of roles that we have to play. And those things there are survival mechanism. So we make it through hard times through that when we're going through our teenage years and up into adulthood, but they become prisons for us as men. And the worst tragedy that I've witnessed in doing the Braveheart work or in my coaching is when a man comes to the work and he has fused with his masks so completely he has no idea who he is. He's just a role, He's a series of labels. I'm a dad. I'm a career dude. I do this other thing. Like it's just a bunch of do's. I do this. I do that. I do this, and that's who I am. I'm like, well, that is absolutely false.
Right.
Yeah. That's completely false. So yeah, the mask thing becomes a trap. And what I have found is anytime that I ever tried to get God to build, to have a contract with my mask, like to build some kind of relationship where, if you let me wear the mask in this way, then I'll serve you in those. He has never been willing to have a relationship with my mask because he loves who I am behind it. So he's not going to tolerate it. So he's like waiting for me to lay down the mask in order for me to have an actual relationship with him.
He loves who I am behind it. There's just so much Do that.
Lord. Thanks for coming to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Brad and Rico need a break.
Yeah, dude,
No,
that is
seriously.
so good because, I mean, you think about all the Psalms and how God is, even before we were in our mother's womb, and how He has created us, and every hair on our head is in place, and we are created in God's image by His handiwork. We were created in Christ Jesus. You know, I mean, the enemy wants to allow the things that we do, good and bad, to dictate how we view ourselves and our identity with God.
Right.
And what we do is not necessarily indicative at all of who Christ says we are. It's so good. Dude.
Yeah, exactly right. In fact, what we teach and have proven, I think, through 20 years of doing Braveheart, is that the way it's supposed to work is that what you do is a natural emergence of being who you're made to be. So, like, it's your identity becomes the thing you do. So when you end up, when you're at your best, as you used that phrase earlier, when you're in your space and you know who you are, there's a certain thing that happens to the world around you.
Yeah.
People get impacted by you in a particular way because you're showing up. And that's not about you performing or doing anything or having a skill. It's about you being yourself in a way that is transformative for other people. It's transformational presence.
Thank you, Lord.
That is what the fundamental kingdom is. You know, it's like the to be light and to be salt is a being statement. It's not a doing statement. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Gosh, that's good.
right.
I mean, this is all the way back to Genesis 1 and 2 stuff.
Come on, right?
Being with God fully, not behind a mask, as He created us to be.
Yes.
Oh,
Dude.
all right. Whew. I'm sorry. There's a little mini sermon on the side in here for you during this interview.
It was K. Rico.
It was. I love it. This is awesome. That's going to be the name of this episode, by the way. They're going to be like, episode 35, interview with K. Rico. What is going on here? All right, dude, let's talk about these incredible looking books that I'm staring at right here. Okay, this is the Pearlsong Refounding Project.
Yes.
Okay, and we have books 1 and 2
Yes.
that are already out. I mean, we go buy them right now.
They're out in paperback, out on Kindle, and in audiobook.
Oh, who read the audiobook? You?
No.
Oh, what a miss.
I'm
just
not.
kidding.
You should hear
No.
this guy. This
Dude,
guy is so much better than me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
My guy.
We've
my
been
guy
getting a
is-
taste of this voice.
I know.
But okay, we'll trust you. We'll trust you that you got a good guy.
He's the right guy.
All right,
Okay.
yeah, all right,
he's
we
the
trust
right
you, guy. But books 1 and 2 out. Books 3 and 4, which complete the series, are coming out.
December 2nd.
Woo!
just
This
in time
year.
for
Kripma. All right, so Kripma. All right, Richard, you've got the book right there. Okay, talk to us about it, man.
well, this is a genre of. I'm sorry.
There you go again.
Yeah.
Genre. Just so you know, genre's become this little thing over the last couple of weeks that we have just between genre and garage, we've been having trouble with our long G's.
Yeah, it's a.
Anyways,
it's
all
a
right.
problem.
So genre.
But the fantasy fiction genre is not right in my wheelhouse. I don't recall that I've ever read a book in this. I usually wait for the movies to come out or whatever, but I went ahead and grabbed.
I
I'm
like
thinking
that, by
about
the way.
Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, no, I'm
So-
laughing. That was good. That was good. I like
But anyway, so when these came out, I went ahead and ordered the first 2 books, and so I read Gideon's Dawn, book 1 in the Pearlsong Refounding series. And what's the word for 4 books? Trilogy is 3 and 4 books.
It is tetralogy, and I am bringing it back, baby.
Yes.
on.
Bring
That's
it
what I'm
all the way
talking
back.
about.
Yeah.
So the book 1 in this tetralogy, I just want to say for someone that's not normally reading this style of book and these kind of stories, I was hooked. I mean, I was absolutely entranced by it a chapter in. And I have loved it and finished it and have been able to start on book 2. The first book is called Gideon's Dawn. And so we would love to hear just a little bit about how this story started for you. I think you started it many years ago.
I did.
Tell us about how it began.
Yeah, well, how it began. So this goes back to my story to some degree and some of what we've been talking about when it comes to the mask. But I had a super broken childhood and a difficult time with abuse and my history, and it was very rough. But at the same time, I was in a very religious home, and so that created this very difficult dichotomy of having deep brokenness in the house at the same time that we had to present a perfect picture to the world. And so one of the secret questions I harbored growing up, because I thought, man, I am so messed up. There is probably no way back for me. And without getting into details about it, it's just like that was seriously the question was, I think this experiment called Michael Warden is dead on arrival, like just not going to work. So, so coming into young adulthood and coming into my 20s, I was a Christian and I was seeking God about this, and I really had the question. I'm like, am I too far gone? I mean, I know you do good stuff, but I'm kind of a tough case, considering how broken I was by all the sexual abuse that happened to me. And so when I started working on the novel, that question was chief in my mind. And one day when I was thinking about that, I was reading in Proverbs, and I think it's even in here. Let me see if I can find this one particular verse. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it eat its fruit. And I was like, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And I'd thought about all the different things that had been said to me that were like daggers in my heart. And the very few things that had ever been said that were life-giving in my home. And so that came into my head, and I thought about how words have so much power. And then in the middle of that, this character, Gideon, just showed up in my imagination. And I'm like, who are you? And then there was a kind of conversation that ensued. And but I got the sense, and many fiction writers will talk about this, the idea of the muse, but I got the sense that I was supposed to tell this guy's story. And I know it's partly my story, but it's not just my story. It's a lot of guys' story, a lot of people's story. So that was the impetus for it, was those three things coming together. This question, the power of words, and Gideon. And then came the story, and I actually thought Gideon's Dawn was a one-book story. And then obviously not. Like once I got toward the end of it, it became, it's a 2-book story, and then no, it's a 3-book story, and then I was halfway through the 3rd book realizing, okay, it's a 4-book story.
So we got through book 4, and it's not a 5-book story.
It's not a 5-book story.
All right, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah,
Great question.
It did in fact end at completed at the end of The Word That Prevails, which is the 4th book in the series. So that was how it started. And it is the story of a guy from our world. So it's called a portal fantasy. So the idea is someone from our universe or our world somehow gets transported to an alternate world. Chronicles of Narnia is the classic example of this, the wardrobe.
The wardrobe, yes.
Right. So in this book, in this story, Gideon is a 33-year-old college professor. He's actually in a postdoc, so he's kind of like becoming a college professor in Texas, and but he's like similar to me in this regard, super rough childhood, and has learned how to stuff and put all that stuff away, and has very elaborate masks in place that allow him to excel. He's very good at his job. And so he seems to be okay. Everything, I mean, as far as his functionality in the world, hollow on the inside, isolated, all the things that are true for a lot of younger men and middle-aged guys. And then a series of incredible events happen that pull him into another world where he finds himself in the middle of a battle. And this battle, he doesn't know what's going on. It's all very confusing.
Right.
It's all just way out of his wheelhouse. And and then he's hit in this battle so badly that they leave him for dead. So he's pretty much about to die. And in his delirium, he does something that shifts the entire battle in the different direction. And when he does that, the people there see it, and that's what starts this whole thing where they think he's the prophesied deliverer for this whole story. They start casting him in this role, and he's just this guy from Texas who doesn't know where he is, and so that's how the story gets rolling.
Wow, dude, I'm hooked,
bro. And
Coach, sign me up.
No doubt, I'm telling you. And Michael just has the skills to take you on this journey, and you're reading it on a page, but stuff is just happening, and you're seeing it and experiencing it. And again, as a novice in this sort of type of book, I am loving it, and I thank you for the obedience over the years to do this and do this work. I do want to mention on the proverb that you talked about, life and death and the power of the tongue. That is a huge piece of life in this alternate world that Gideon finds himself in. The power of words, for good or for evil.
Yes.
Would that be enough to not?
I can say
spoil
more
anything?
if you want, but
okay. But that's been one of the things that was moving me on a pretty deep way as I was reading this book, as I was just seeing little glimpses of people whose lives were impacted by the power, the words of good words and evil words, and the way that even, you talked about identity. There's this line that one character describes, is trying to help Gideon understand, as they're observing one of their friends really living life to their fullest and sort of walking and living in their purpose. They're watching Gideon, and another character is watching this friend do that. And the character says to Gideon, he's just being who he is. That's his name. And says the line, we walk in the light of our naming.
Oh.
And I want you to know, I told Michael this the other day, you've heard of a mic drop moment?
Yeah.
That was a book drop moment. I literally was sitting and I dropped the book.
Did you really?
And Ron was like, "Huh, what just happened?" And I'm like, I just read something that I think is going to stay with me forever.
Oh, wow.
We walk in the light of our naming, and we live in a world where words do matter.
Yeah. Words can kill. They can.
Yeah.
Or they can give life.
And so I just love that as part of this story. So Gideon's Dawn, book 1, Waymaker, book 2, as Brad said, they're out now.
They're out
so
now.
get thee to Amazon.
Before
Post-haste.
December 3rd, and then get thee back to Amazon post December 3rd. Yeah, so you have books 3 and 4 coming out. What are your plans? I mean, what's the media hype surrounding this? Are we your first interview on your nationwide tour?
You are my second interview on the nationwide tour. Whoa, if I'd known about you first, I would have had you first.
Well, the wise old saying, the first is the worst, the second is the best.
We just made that up, right? That's not an actual saying.
I don't know.
Yeah. So the second 2 books, the third book's called The Song That Shatters. The fourth book is called The Word That Prevails.
Oh,
I mean, just think of the names of these
prevails.
books, dude.
Oh.
The word that are you kidding me?
Oh,
no, we're not. God.
Yeah, man. It's a good. I mean, yeah. It's I'm so excited to get this story out. So the big hype around it is that I'm doing a push for this. The first 2 books I've just been doing a push. I'm doing some more pushes. Like there's free giveaways that are available on my website. And then when the September this month continues to move forward, I'll have another giveaway that'll start going through October and November for bonus material for these books. Because when you write a book like this, you kind of write 2 books because you have to write the book, but then you also have to, or I have to anyway, write a book that I end up calling the Pearlsong Codex, which is how does the magic system work? How does there's this historian in the book, and what about all the books she wrote? How do I know where they go? And how does the economic system work? And what are all these other countries that are in this world? So like this other bunch of data that geeks like me love. Those are going to be available as part of the giveaway that I'll be having leading up to the release for the second 2 books. And there'll also be some of those books available for giveaway as well. It's like signed copies of them. And on my website as well, on the pearlsongrefounding.com website, there's going to be a monthly giveaway of books 1 and 2, like signed copies of books 1 and 2 for the next foreseeable future. So like for the next year, probably at least.
That is awesome. Well, speaking of signed book giveaways, I'm going to force myself not to snatch up one of these giveaways, but we have a Sermons on the Side exclusive.
Come on.
We've got 2 giveaways. One is going to be books 1 and 2 signed by the author himself.
by Michael.
And then the second one is going to be the exact same thing. Books 1 and 2 package deal signed by the author himself. And here's how this is going to work. On the episode release day,
Which happens to be today.
September 18th, baby. We are going to post on Facebook and Instagram a picture of Richard and I with Michael holding up the books, just advertising about the newest and latest episode drop. We're not going to say anything about the giveaway. But you, because you have listened to this episode, you will know that you need to go to one of those posts and you need to write in the password or the key phrase. And the key phrase is coming up. Okay, that if you make a post, if you make a comment on that with the key phrase, it'll enter you into a giveaway. We'll make an announcement the following week, episode 36, for who the giveaway winner will be. All right, now here's the key phrase. As the author, we want to know what is your favorite quote or like one line from this entire book series and why?
This is a key phrase that will repeat throughout the novels. It is this: speak true and you will not fail.
There it is. Boom. First of all, that's great. That's just great stuff. Speak true and you will not fail. Okay, but that's also the key phrase that you got to post, comment on the picture that you see. It'll enter you in for a giveaway for your chance to win books 1 and 2 of the Pearlsong Refounding. Oh my goodness, dude, that is so. I'm pumped.
Speak true, and you will not fail.
I can't wait. This is so awesome.
That is just, and that I can attest. I saw that multiple times in Gideon's Dawn, book 1. But I just love that as a core thing in this story.
Right. Well, it's, the power, as we're alluding to, the power of words is a very big theme, and the power of what you say is a very big theme throughout all 4 books. And Gideon, of course, not from this world he's in, so he doesn't know what that means, but he's told early on by certain powers, you just need to speak true and you won't fail. And he's like, what do you speak? What true? And so this becomes a question that he's wrestling with through the whole story. But I think it's, in a way, a question we all wrestle with of what is it to speak your truth without fail? What is it to speak from the truest part of who you are? What is that? Yeah. And finding your true voice in that way is part of Gideon's journey, but it's part of all of our journey. And I love the way that it's kind of captured in that phrase and wrestled with by him. But it's I can relate to it. I think we can all relate to that. That idea of
man, so good. Well, set a reminder on your phone. We will absolutely be reminding you the closer that we get to December 3rd. Can't wait, man. This has been such an awesome conversation, Michael. Thank you for joining. Anytime that you are Van-Goghing through Columbus, please stop, hang out, and come be a guest, even on just a regular old episode.
I'll just drop in.
Please do.
I will.
Just knock on the door.
It's delightful.
Now, I think we mentioned that normally when we close our episodes, we close it with a segment, some sort of obnoxious observation about life in the world, and usually it's funny, and it often ends up with me being mocked for my hot takes. But when we have an interview, a guest, we do something different, and we do something that we don't warn you about. So we're about to do what we call no huddle. It is a series of rapid fire questions that I'm going to ask you. And we're just going to ask you, it's like a quarterback who gets it to the line of scrimmage and he sees the defense and he's just got to make a decision. Doesn't have time to huddle up. That's why it's called no huddle.
Got it.
All right?
Got
Are
it.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Michael Warden.
Yes.
Our friend.
That's the correct name. Is
What
that a
is-
question?
Question 1 done.
I win.
Name, done.
Done.
Check. Michael, what is the worst job you ever held in your life?
I cleaned toilets at a youth camp for an entire summer.
Whoa.
Coach.
Okay.
You win. I mean,
That's a thing,
that's
man.
a front row seat in heaven type of job right there.
No doubt. Okay, next question. This is a Bible character question. And the only rule about this is you can't answer by saying Jesus. Okay. This is the only context in the world where Jesus isn't the answer. Okay. So, what is a Bible character that you particularly connect with and relate to?
I relate very much to several, but I think in David. Yeah, I relate to David. And I relate to David for a couple reasons that we've already talked about tonight. Like, here's a guy who also was chosen, but no one else really saw it. And then once he believed it, he had a lot of resistance externally to that, had to fight his way to get to his final anointing in Hebron, which, you know, when he finally got anointed as king, but then he fought for another 7.5 years to get to Jerusalem to finally get on the throne. Like, just everything was tooth and nail, all those years in the caves, like all that.
Right.
So David, and then in the whole thing, he's referred to as a man who's after God's own heart. And I wrestled for years trying to understand what that meant. Like, what does that mean? And it literally, but when I finally did the research on it, it means exactly what it says. It means that he was literally chasing after God's heart. He ran toward God's heart. He never went. So, like, even in every situation where he was struggling or whatever, his knee-jerk reaction was to go toward God. Whether he was angry or disillusioned or whatever he felt, he did it at God or toward God, not away from God. And that, a man after God's own heart.
Gosh, that's so good.
Yeah. So
He's doing this. I mean, he can't even help it. It's like he just the awesomeness is.
That's the rapid fire answer.
Come on, there you go. I do appreciate it. Okay, next question. We understand that Van Gogh is not necessarily pet friendly, but cat person or dog person?
Dog person. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Gosh, man.
I'm a cat agnostic. I believe they exist, but they have no bearing on my life.
That is.
I have never heard it said, and that owns me now. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
I believe they exist, but they have no. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Almost done. You're getting close. So, if you could, like, from comic books or comic book movie kind of world, if you could have one superpower, what would you choose?
My superpower would be to instantly transport anywhere in the universe that I wanted to.
Dude.
In the universe.
The universe.
Okay.
Okay.
Where's the first place we're going? Bang.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
Great question.
Yeah, I'd probably stay on Earth for a while because I didn't want to
Get the whole
die.
oxygen thing figured out. Yeah.
But
Okay,
if
fair
I
play.
could figure out the whole oxygen thing, I'd probably go to Mars and look around.
There you go.
Yeah,
All
so-
right. I love it.
Like we're here. Okay. Final question, Michael. If you could imagine, let's say 2 or 3 of your closest friends that were all in one place at a certain time, and someone was interviewing them. They were being interviewed, and the interviewer asks your closest friends, "Tell us about your friend Michael." What would you hope to hear them say?
Wow. I don't like that question.
Okay,
But the what I would hope to hear them say is that he was a lover of God. That was the thing that I would hope that defines me more than anything else.
Amen to that, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for indulging us in that rapid fire question
Sure.
thing. But thank you most of all for just being so generous with your heart and your story and your thoughts about the journey, the processes that have brought you to where you are and are still in play. And and how by you sharing that, man, you've really touched us here today.
Man,
Thanks.
So thank you.
Thanks. It's a rich space to have a conversation. Thank you guys for creating that.
Indeed.
Well, folks, I don't know how we're going to top that, but come back next week and we'll try to attempt it. But
We'll
my
give it a
goodness,
whirl.
Michael Warden, thank you for being here, brother. We appreciate you. Forever a friend of the show, my friend.
Indeed. And I guess as we prepare to wrap up, we just want to remind you that if you're interested in connecting with Michael online, we're going to have the links that he referred to about Braveheart, about his coaching career, the
Sojourner
links to the
writing.
Sojournist writings, and big time, of course, reminders about how you can just join the Pearlsong Refounding universe. I mean, just get in the family. Get with us on this. You're going to have all the links in the show notes. And when it comes to the books, just don't forget that episode. I was going to say episode, but books 3 and 4 coming out in December. We encourage you, go to Amazon now and pre-order those things.
Come on.
So you're not going to forget, and you're going to get them before Christmas, and they are wonderful Christmas gifts. So go ahead.
And folks, hope you have a great week. I hope you buy all the books from Amazon, and I hope to see you again next week on another episode of Sermons on the Side.
Thanks, everybody. What we do is we push record to get a little B-roll stuff
yeah.
that we can use for our intro or outro.
But you should get Rhonda to, just let me teach you a phrase.
Que rico.
Que rico. There
See,
you have a
he
little
wants it.
royalty.
See,
Que
I can't.
rico.
Que rico.
Que rico.
Come on.
You got it.
Que rico.
Not que rico.
Yeah. Just change the consonant.
Que rico is very different.
Wait. I'm sorry. I was not in the room. What is que rico?
It means, ooh, that's so rich.
Oh!
See?
Shout out Rhonda
Exactly.
for having a new arsenal in the old repertoire.
Oh,
Que
you
rico.
know it. Oh,
So when you do
I've
something
been
really
knocked
good,
back
it's
from
like, just as we say to Rhonda, so Rhonda, next time I do something that you really like,
it.
que rico.
Nah, you can't
We
say
are all over that. No, I can't. I actually tried to roll my R's on a podcast episode, and it did not go well. And I was sure that we would have edited that out, and yet we didn't.
Someone did not do it.
Yeah. It's the sword you live and die by. You don't edit, but you don't edit.
So it's a lot of power.
Yeah.
A lot of power there.
With great power comes.
Great responsibility for
Thank
Spider-Man.
Thank you, Uncle
Ben.
Ben. Thank you.
I think you know a guy. Uncle. What do you mean?
Charlie?
What?
No, it's not Charlie.
Uncle Sam? Uncle.
You're out.
Oh man.
No que rico.
No.